The things I do for YouTube. Well, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, boys and girls, and I hope you've all been good this year and you haven't ended up on Santa's naughty list. We're going to continue with Setup Wars every single Monday for the rest of December, as well as the Setup of the Month contest on our Discord server, where we're looking for the best non-ultra-wide single monitor setup. So make sure to join, participate, and vote. But with that said, we got 5 juicy setups for this episode. Sit back and relax, grab your cocoa melon. But with that said, we've got 5 juicy setups for this episode, so sit back and relax, grab your hot cocoa, and let the Setup Wars begin. Do you constantly forget your passwords? Come on. Did your wife take your kids and leave you? Well, LastPass won't make your wife stay, but it will help you manage your passwords like a pro. Our lives revolve around the digital world, and passwords are the locks protecting our data. The last thing you want is to leave that door wide open or get locked out. Thanks to LastPass, you won't ever forget your passwords because you don't have to memorize them in the first place. With a single click of a button, it generates and stores unique passwords in an encrypted vault. This works on all your devices and can be set up for your whole team if you're running a small business. It especially comes in handy for us at TechSource, as most of our communication happens digitally and we're spread all around the world. Sharing credentials in a safe and secure way hasn't been easier. As a content creator, having a centralized hub where I can monitor, manage, and keep my passwords safely encrypted is a dream. And honestly, I can't live without it. So click the link below or visit lastpass.com/techsource and start a free trial today. Holy mother of all monitors, Batman. Ringing the first jingle bells is Han with his PC and laptop hybrid setup. He's a supply chain manager from Cincinnati who put it all together mainly for working from home, content creation, and the occasional gaming session. He's rocking 4 displays total, including the Asus ZenBook on the left, but if you look closely, that's not the only laptop that he has. There's also a Dell Inspiron on a stand right underneath the Asus laptop dedicated to his work. The main 2 displays are a 30-inch Scepter and a 24-inch Acer Nitro below it, while the Asus ZenBook, as well as a 16x18 Innocent monitor, are used as secondaries on both sides. For peripherals, you went with a TechWare Phantom Elite keyboard that's paired with a nice wood wrist rest that matches the wood accents in the setup. By the way, for those looking for a quality all-wood wrist rest for their keyboard, we do have 2 different materials on a TechSource shop. I'll drop a link below if you want to grab one for your setup. Along with the keyboard, Han uses 3 different mice depending on the task at hand. The MX Master 3S for productivity, and the G Pro Superlight plus the Model O wireless for gaming, which are resting on a T-shelf to the side. I really like that levitating plant, by the way. I think I've seen it quite a few times on Amazon, and from what I know, you can use it to display other items as well. It's not just for tea, but I'll leave a link below if anyone wants to check it out. Han kept all the audio gear to the left side, but we don't have very clear photos of it, unfortunately. He doesn't have any speakers and only uses the Sony XM5s paired with a Zeal Sound USB microphone. The cables of both are routed from that side underneath the desk where everything seems to be under control. I do see quite a few odd spirals with the cables here and there, but they're all attached to the desk in one way or another and kept out of sight. The same goes for the cables behind the monitors. Very good job. The PC, on the other hand, could use a bit of cable management if you ask me. It's technically tucked away and hidden behind the right monitor, but seeing all those cables really hurts my soul. It features an Intel Core i9 CPU and an MSI RTX 4070. He didn't add any custom mods to the PC either, as he wanted to keep the wood slats at the front as the main highlight. Theming the whole setup around wooden and natural tones helped in this regard. I would say the dark gray headboards in the corner top it all off, bringing this secluded and cozy vibe. My main gripe is with the cable management, but overall it is a well-executed setup. Thank you, Han, for participating. Some of you Setup Wars veterans out there will probably recognize this setup from Kieran. He's a 3D designer from Malaysia, and this is in fact his 4th time on the show. Over 100 episodes ago, Kieran made it into episode 251 Couples Edition with his wife. Then he went on to be featured with his solo setup in episodes 298 and 313, the latter of which ended with him winning the seal of approval. I'm quite excited to see what changes you've made since then. Well, I'm quite excited to see what changes you've made since then. The overall cozy wooden vibe has stayed the same, but he's now rocking 3 displays instead of 2. He replaced the ultra-wide with 2 27-inch gigabyte monitors and added another 24-inch on the left in vertical mode for multitasking. Since Kieran is all about productivity, he stayed loyal to the MX Master mouse, but is now typing away on a fully custom Shuriki Hanzo keyboard. He did stick to the same audio gear, but the whole decor around the room has shifted towards a more minimalistic vibe. Instead of shelves and pegboards above his monitors, he now has this cool custom design made of wood pieces in the shape of an audio wave. While all his extra gear, the headphones and keyboards, are neatly displayed on a brand new pegboard to the right. To keep the whole minimal theme going, we've got a new blacked out mini ITX build, and for the specs, looks like he switched teams and is now rocking an i7-12700 and the same Asus TUF RTX 3070 Ti. But can we just take a minute to appreciate the quality of the photos that Kieran has provided every single time he's been on the show? All of our eyeballs aren't just blessed, they are baptized. The minimal wooden decor ties everything together beautifully as well, creating a harmonious atmosphere across the whole setup. Unfortunately, you did not show anything from the cable management side of things, but don't worry, I'm not going to put you on the naughty list, okay? In any case, it's always awesome to see you back on the show. Thank you, Kieran, for setting these in. Up next is Marco and his packaged gaming den, where he's not afraid to show his love for gaming and anime. As soon as you enter the room, you are greeted by a plethora of different statues, figurines, and collectibles from all sorts of franchises. I mean, we've got Dragon Ball, Demon Slayer, Elden Ring, Witcher, Mortal Kombat, Spider-Man, a freaking massive Joker statue, and much, much more. I'm pretty sure all these statues combined cost more than most of our setups out here. Marco went with a single 27-inch LG monitor, which he mounted to the wall, leaving tons of space on his carbly countertop for all his gear and the PC. For peripherals, he's got a custom Varmilo keyboard paired with a Logitech mouse and a pair of Yamaha speakers for audio. I want to be completely honest with you. That monitor looks so small when you look at the setup from the front. The speakers sandwiching it just looks so freaking massive. Besides the speakers though, we do have a pair of DT990 Pro headphones, which he most likely uses while gaming, but there is no dedicated microphone. Instead, Marco uses the built-in mic from the webcam. What? The webcam is the Insta360 Link, which has a pretty decent mic, but I would still recommend grabbing a separate microphone. You look like someone who appreciates quality, so sounding crisp on voice chat, meetings, and even in your games would be in your favor. If you look underneath the desk, the cables are hidden behind the wood panel, but they're still managed and tied together nicely, so I got no complaints here. The PC powering it all features an i9-13900KF processor paired with an Asus RTX 4090. Damn! That is a gorgeous build, but seriously, you can buy a 4090 but not spend like 50 bucks and buy a dedicated mic? I got questions and I demand answers, but hey, nonetheless, thank you for coming on the show. You know, I always admire people who make their setups work in limited spaces. Petran's setup is one of those cases, as he wasn't just limited by the corner size, but also vertical space. So he's from the Czech Republic, and he started his setup journey back in 2016 when he first discovered Setup Wars and got inspired to put together his own cozy corner. One thing led to another, and the humble beginnings led him all the way here to what you guys see today. Apparently, a huge tornado hit the Czech Republic in 2021, and his house and setup were also damaged and destroyed in the process. I hope you and your family and everyone else stayed safe during that time. That's honestly very scary to hear. And even though the setup was destroyed, the dream and motivation to rebuild it lived on. And now we get to see and judge his new creation. We've got, once again, a nature theme going on with the wooden accents and greenery. Petr mainly uses the setup for gaming, so he opted for a single 27-inch LG monitor mounted to his custom sit and stand desk. The peripherals of choice are the QK65 keyboard and a Logitech G Pro Superlight mouse. Moving on to audio, he uses a pair of small Kanto speakers and Philips headphones with an extra detachable mic, which are hanging from his PC. Speaking of which, it does stay true to the wooden theme as you'd expect, and is housing a full AMD build with a Ryzen 5 7600 and an RX 7800 XT. Beautiful, beautiful work. In terms of the nature theme, it's not just the decor of the main setup, it actually extends beyond the desk. The whole room has this very inviting vibe with plants hanging from the ceiling, wooden accents everywhere, we got warm tone light bulbs and plenty of natural lighting. I can only imagine how relaxing it is just to come here, sit down on the couch and chill in this space. I see there's also another setup right in front of Pet's, but he didn't mention anything about it, so your guess is as good as mine. It could be his own, his roommate's, or maybe his wife's. If the latter is the case though, make sure to apply for our couples edition of Setup Wars. Nonetheless, thank you for participating. Wooden and natural tones seem to be quite popular in this episode, and quite frankly this entire year on Setup Wars. And well, Stefan is wrapping it all up today by adding some colors and RGB. So he's a project manager from Switzerland who built it mainly for gaming and chill. You heard that right, boys and girls, we got a new term going on. And he even has a sofa bed right behind the setup for when it's time to relax.
What do you mean by that?
All right, I'll stop. I do have to say there's quite a lot of color in the room. RGB ambient lighting is everywhere it can fit, with some more decor, collectibles, and posters all around. I do like those two astronaut displays, but if you zoom in, you'll notice that the right one is actually a picture glued onto a display. That's an interesting mod. I guess that works. I mean, you could have technically gone with a custom display, but as far as I know, you need a paid subscription for that. So this is the next best thing. Honestly, if you hadn't mentioned in the notes, I probably wouldn't have even noticed. Anywhoosies, both the main setup and the sim racing rig share the same system and are rocking the same 34-inch AOC ultra-rides. The peripherals are also quite colorful. He has a fully custom keyboard and a Fecker case, while the mouse, the headphones, and the microphone are all from Logitech. You know, you've mentioned that you still need to fix the cable management, and I don't know what planet you're from, but a lot of people would be more than happy to manage their cables as neatly as you did. I get what you mean though, as there's always room for improvement. You also mentioned wanting new speakers. Since you're into lighting and RGB, I definitely recommend looking into the Edifier QR65s, which I've showed in a previous Christmas Cool Tech video. I'll drop a link to it so you can watch it after this video. But enough chitter chatter. The PC pushing all those pixels is a pre-built featuring an i7-10700F and an RTX 3070. After you get all your cosmetic upgrades, it might be time to overhaul that PC as well, Stefan. Aside from that, we've been seeing a lot of racing sim setups lately. You're really giving me the itch to build another one for myself, but overall, a greatly executed setup. Thank you, Stefan, for sharing this with us. And this wraps up our pre-Christmas episode of Setup Wars. You guys know the drill. Let me know in the comment section which of these setups was your absolute favorite. And before you head out, I hope you gather with your friends or family and have an amazing time this holiday season. Make sure to tune in for next week, which is going to be the last episode of Setup Wars of 2024. But until then, have an amazing Christmas. Don't forget to stuff your cheeks. Up to you which one you want to use. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. God damn, it's hot in here. Can't breathe in this. How does Santa do it every year? Oh man. Wait, actually Santa has a beard all year long. That statement made no sense.